We are in Istanbul attending the PATA annual summit, and next to me I have Professor Dr. Wolfgang Georg Arlt.
Yes.
Professor Arlt is the Executive Director of the Meaningful Tourism Center.
That's correct.
Thank you, first of all, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And you are the Executive Director and founder of the Meaningful Tourism Center.
Yes.
And Meaningful Tourism is the new mission that PATA adopted this time.
Yes, so thank you for talking to me today. And indeed, during this General Summit, PATA changed the vision and mission statements. And the vision is now a meaningful Pacific Asia tourism economy. Mm-hmm. And then the mission is more detailed to develop sustainable stuff.
Yeah.
And this is indeed going back to my concept of meaningful tourism, which I developed during the pandemic, and which is now adopted by PATA, which I'm very happy about, because PATA is a strong organization that will make it easier to spread the word and the idea. And basically, meaningful tourism I developed during the pandemic. There were so many discussions that, because we had over tourism and stopped using aircraft already before, so the tourism has to change, and indeed tourism has to change, and how to change it. But there were always people concentrating only on one part. So some people are seeing, well, you had the host communities protesting in places like Santorini or Barcelona. And of course, people saying, oh, we have to take good care of the environment, so we should maybe stop flying altogether. And some people were looking at the traveler experience. So there is something called meaningful travel, but that is mostly concentrating on me as a traveler, my experience. And I thought, in all these discussions, it was not a holistic picture, because we know from our daily life experience, if you have a family, so you must be happy, your wife must be happy, your kids must be happy, your mother-in-law must be happy.
True.
Otherwise, it's not a happy family. And we have, in tourism for a long time, we have not treated all the stakeholders with enough attention. The environment is an obvious thing, but also we learned the employees have not been discussed much, their fate. And so what happened is, during the pandemic, many of them found another job. And they
don't come back again.
Yes, and they found, oh, I can have a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job, sitting on a desk, no weekend work, no night work, no unpaid overtime, no customers shouting at me. So they didn't come back, obviously. Now we have the guests are back, the customers are back, but not the staff, because we didn't pay enough attention to them, because we didn't offer them career paths, because we didn't offer them 12 months a year jobs. Mm-hmm. And also, in many discussions, the companies were not given enough attention to. Many people who talk about the environment think that profit is a dirty word, even money is a dirty word, when of course companies have to make profit so they can invest and develop. And so that's why we identified 6 main stakeholders, which is the travelers, the host community, the employees working in tourism and hospitality, the companies themselves, the different levels of governments, which earn taxes, but also can use this as a development tool to bring tourism to underdeveloped regions, and of course the environment, which then is NGOs or other organizations taking care of that. And the idea is that you have to and you can align the interests of all 6 stakeholders. And so a tourism model which does not have this, and it's not compromise, it's alignment of interest, then we have to work further on it. And there are two levels. One level is benefits. So this is objective benefits: jobs, regional development, infrastructure development, careful treatment of the environment, and so on. And then you have subjective satisfaction, which is what people think about. Because, for instance, in the past, we have been telling the local population, you should not be angry about the tourists. Look, they give you jobs and they pay taxes. Shut up. So therefore, maybe objectively, this inhabitants of Istanbul have maybe better roads and better transport because the tourists pay some of the money for it. But if they don't understand that, if nobody tells them, they still will say, "Oh, these bloody tourists taking away my parking lot." And so therefore, that is both benefits objectively and satisfaction subjectively. And this is the second part of this, which is very important, is there's a saying, what you cannot measure, you cannot manage.
True.
So KPIs, key performance indicators, smart KPIs, so which are realistic and achievable and measurable. So to say for each of the stakeholders, for a destination, for a company, or whatever, okay, what are the key performance indicators, the relevant ones, and how can we improve them? So where are we now? And then to say, okay, in 1 year, we want to move from this level to that level. So let's say 55% of the population accepts tourists coming, are happy with that. So maybe next year we want to go from 55% to 60%.
So these KPIs that you introduce now, it has nothing to do with the usual old metrics that we were using about how many arrivals we have overnights.
Indeed, this is the point. I mean, during the pandemic, we all agreed in all the discussions that arrival numbers don't tell you anything. But after the pandemic, this was all forgotten. And like UN Tourism against it, hooray! Last year, 99% of the 2019 level of arrival numbers.
We started changing numbers again.
Yes, but arrival numbers don't tell you anything because first of all, how long do people stay? So I've been working a lot with the Chinese market, and for instance, Chinese tourists coming to Germany, they stay in Germany on average 1.8 nights, not even 2 nights. Because many of them, they fly into Frankfurt or out of Frankfurt at the end of their trip to Europe, but then they go to other countries. So it used to be 2.2 nights. So maybe you have 10% more arrivals, but you have 20% less overnights. Even economically on this level, it doesn't make sense. So, and of course also from an ecological point of view, it's better to have less people who stay longer. So this is, even on this level, it's not very useful to look only at arrival numbers, but also, of course, what is happening to the destination, to the company, because of the tourists. So how is this a positive influence or a negative influence? And of course, if we look at the environment, there is a lot of discussion and criticism, rightly so, about the negative influence we have. And this is something which, therefore, we also have to measure. What does tourism do for the social situation? So, how much of the money tourists spend stays in the country? Is this helping to create jobs for people in rural areas, for women, for people, handicapped people, or all these questions? So all this goes way beyond just to say, okay, how many people are coming? And this is something where the industry is really far behind. Also, the demand has changed. So people, you can see there has been a development from sightseeing, taking a picture, to experience, trying something out, to now transformational experiences. So more people say, okay, I want to become a fuller personality. I really want to learn something. I want to really to immerse myself into local culture and meet local people intensively. And this is something which, of course, is changing the local society, it's changing the tourists. It might even help to have more peaceful relations, so that after you have been traveling to another country and you find these are nice people, it's harder to be a racist.
but yeah, I was anyway. I'm considering myself quite naive, thinking that tourism can achieve this, what you mentioned now, until I saw the conflicts that we have now between people that they had families together and now they are fighting. But anyway, that's the bad side of the thing. Now, what you discussed earlier, bring to my mind the idea that when you receive tourists, you need also to ensure that they are going to understand
Yes.
your culture,
Yes.
your lifestyle, your gastronomy, your way of living, not just take photos and leave, or just visit a place and go.
Yes.
How you manage as a destination to. You mentioned earlier that the travelers, they are looking now for experiences and transformational experiences. So, yes, they are looking, but how we design those experiences for them to find them easier.
Yes. So, and this is something I mentioned that. So I have been for many years a international tourism management professor in Germany, but after I retired, I decided to go from Europe to Asia, and now I'm living in Nepal, in Kathmandu. I'm very happy there. And this is also because, especially in Europe, where tourism has been for a long time, people are reluctant to change. They say, we earned good money, everything was nice the last 50 years before the pandemic.
Don't touch it, it works.
So yes, why change it? Whereas in Asia, people are more, it's easier for them to accept change, to embrace change, to like change in many, many ways. And that's also in tourism. And the point is, and this is one of the base of meaningful tourism, is there is no, it's not an option to change or not to change. This is forced on you. And I would say there are three main forces. One is demand change, as we said. People don't just go to a beach anymore and stay 2 weeks on a beach, well, some still do, but less and less. So this demand for deeper experiences, for doing something meaningful, because many people during the pandemic realized how short life can be, and that maybe it's not enough to spend your time watching videos on your smartphone, and that's it. So the demand is changing more and more, also because average age of travelers is going up, so we have more older people, less young people, less young families. That is the first one. The second one is that there is something called climate change. And we see already now that, for instance, in Spain or in Italy or in Greece, you have 48, 49, 50 degrees sometime in the summer, and then it's no fun anymore to go to the beach.
True.
And for the tourist, even if it's only maybe 1 week or 2 weeks a year, already it might be 50 degrees Celsius. It's already killing the wish, and then we go somewhere else. And also, of course, with these warmer temperatures of the oceans, you have more poisonous algae and jellyfish in the water and so on. So therefore, in many destinations, beach holiday is moving from the hot summer to spring and autumn. But still, I mean, this is not helping you against pollution in the water. So many companies will have to change their business model. Skiing is an obvious example, that in the lower levels you don't have snow anymore. At least you cannot be sure that you have snow. And even at one point, even snow cannons don't work anymore if it's over 3 or 4 degrees plus. So climate change, also for city centers, is also no fun to walk around the Acropolis when it's 50 degrees.
True, yeah.
So I think tourism will have to go more indoors. You will have to have more indoor attraction. So that's the second, climate change. And climate change, well, the World Meteorological Organization of the United Nations is telling us even if we stop polluting tomorrow morning completely, it will be 40 years where it will get worse. For the next 4 decades, climate change will get worse, and we will have more severe results, and already we have now bad things happening, and you can see that in most cases we had worst case scenarios and reality was even worse than the worst case scenario. And the third one is AI. So that also the industry, and again, Asia is obviously much faster in adapting that, robots and AI. So a lot of jobs in tourism are killed. The nice 50-year-old lady sitting in an office in the city center as a tourist information. Now the tourist information looks like this. It's in your pocket, your smartphone. It speaks 100 languages. It's open 24/7. And if I want to know about tourist information about Sao Paulo in Brazil, it's here.
Exactly.
So, and therefore, all these nice ladies in the tourist information offices are losing their job. So there are many places already closed down, and in others they will close down in the coming years. A lot of the back office jobs will go away. I just here at the PATA conference, I talked to George Sau from Dragon Trail. They just developed for the Chinese market an app where you can chat with ChatGPT, what do you want to do for a trip, and then this is automatically translated into a structured itinerary, which then the customer can edit, and then click a button, and then it's bookable, can actually be booked. So you can have from, I think I would like to go to Thailand and I'm interested in nature, I want to see some animals or something, from this vague idea into a fixed booked itinerary with hotels and transportation and a guide for the national park in 5 minutes. So where before you had 10 people at different steps working on that. So now this is all machine, and probably the machine gives you a better result because it has much wider information and current information, and doesn't try to sell you something where you get better commission for. And so that means also we will have new jobs, highly qualified, well-paid jobs, but a lot of the simple jobs will go away. And we will see that, for instance, we are here in a very nice 5-star hotel in Istanbul. In a 5-star hotel, you still have people working for you, but you pay a premium for that. If you go to a 2-star hotel, there will be nobody. You check in with your credit card, and you get a QR code on your smartphone as the room key, and you will not see any living person, which will be not so nice, but will be cheaper. So like we do online banking now ourselves, or even we book our ticket ourselves online, and we don't have a nice lady in the travel shop on the high street doing this for you. So we have these 3 agents of change. Customer demand is changing, climate change forces changes on us, and technology changes have a completely new landscape for work. So there is a need to change, and as I said, in Asia, people are more willing and faster to say, oh, if the new is better than the old, let's have the new one. So I remember when you had mobile phones, not smartphones, mobile phones coming. In Germany, people would say, oh, is there some electric radiation going to my brain? Is it dangerous? In China, people said, oh, that's useful. I can change my appointment last minute, and I can talk to my friends. Hey, give me. I want to do that. Wonderful. And I think this is with many such things that you have that. So therefore, meaningful, and maybe important point to say, meaningful tourism is not just an idea of some nutty professor, but it's supposed to be a tool. So we have trainings. We have at the moment 25 trainers already all over the world, because this is clearly a offline, face-to-face thing. And we have a one-day training where people learn how to understand this method and how to create KPIs for their specific situation. And of course, it's only one day, so this is cannot be a fully developed strategy, but this is where they can learn about this, and then they can decide to use it or not. And if they want to use it, they can do it by themselves, or we offer, of course, with our trainers, who are all experts in the field, that we can support them with that. And so that is the idea, to spread it. And again, the PATA endorsement will be a big help. So we have already discussed with the chairman and the CEO that we will do webinars together. And next month there is the Guangzhou International Travel Fair, GITF, in Guangzhou, where we will do together with PATA some activities. In August is the PATA Travel Mart in Bangkok, and we will have the Meaningful Tourism Award for the first time. So we had it already the last 3 years, 1 year in Singapore, 1 year in Doha, and 1 year in Kathmandu. And so next year we will have this as part of the PATA Travel Mart, where all organizations, destinations, companies doing something in line with the ideas of meaningful tourism will be awarded. So there will be the 6 stakeholder groups, and each will be gold, silver, bronze. So we have 18 award winners. That will be in August. And of course, we are also working on a book about that. And next spring is the idea that we will have the first Meaningful Tourism Conference. Not clear yet where exactly, but so hopefully we can bring this idea to a lot of people, and it's not competing. So I've been working a long time with Professor Harold Goodwin, who invented responsible tourism, and so we are not competing. It is just that we try to create meaningful tourism really as a practical tool, helping people to have a systematic approach to change. Also, something you can compare with other people because you have the same systematic. We already published 2 years ago something called the Meaningful Tourism Index, where we had 72 criteria and we looked at 88 different countries and did rankings, and we will do this again. And so therefore, if you are using the same tool like other people, then you can also compare where is your strengths, where you still have to do something. The plan is that really that next to responsible tourism, regenerative tourism, zero pollution tourism, that also meaningful tourism is an approach which is on the same level with that. And the good news is that response until now has been very positive. Well, obviously from PATA, but also talking to industry people, especially the numbers. So that is something we can measure. It's not just some blah, blah, blah. Or if only the world would be a better place, why do people not behave more responsible? Yeah, this is wishful thinking, and the managers, they want facts. And also, so you can, with KPIs, you can measure things.
You already have the tools to measure.
Yes. Of course. So we have a standard set, which then you can, of course, customize for the specific situation. And of course, if it's an airline, it's different than from Istanbul city. But this is exactly what we are teaching in our trainings and so on. And so this is something where we hope that this will be really something, and that's what the industry people have said. What the industry people like is that it is something where you can really say, okay, what is our situation? What is a realistic goal? How to improve it? Set a target, and then think about how can we reach that target, and then check after 1 year or so, have we reached this target? Because we have a lot of certifications, the GSTC and also those smaller ones, which are all very good, and they all help to think people about what they are doing. But I know in many cases that once they have the certification, they hang it on the wall, and then they go back
Then
to
you
sleep.
do nothing. Yeah.
They don't do anything. So look,
Yeah,
we are
that's-
certified. So they can tell the customers, hey, look, we are certified, but they don't live it, they don't do it. And that is where we hope to be more a tool to be active, and also to explain this is not about you being a nice guy saving the planet. This is about survival of your company, of your destination, and there is a return on investment in what you're doing. If you're a beach resort and you just hope it will not be too bad somehow, or we have loyal customers, they will come anyway. So no, so and now is the time still. People still earn money with the old model, so they still have the opportunity to change and redefine what they are doing.
It will be very interesting to see the first cases coming and see who is implementing meaningful tourism
I can give you one
policy.
Yes, I can give you one example. I had actually, before the PATA meeting, there was another fair and conference here in Istanbul last week called Colors of the World, and I had the pleasure to organize a conference. So I was the chair of the conference, so we had people from many different countries, and there was, for instance, a lady from the Seychelles, and she explained that 2 years ago the Seychelles made a conscious decision to stop being a beach destination and to turn the view of the customers from the ocean away to what is behind them, to the country. And they do things like you visit a family, you go to the market, you buy food, you go to the kitchen, you cook together, you learn how to cook local food, and in the end you eat together with a family, and you dance and make music together and stuff. So to sell the local culture, and so not to sell the fish in the ocean, snorkeling, but to sell the people, sell the local
more local
heritage.
experience. Let's say,
And they said, fortunately, the customers like it very much. I mean, they can still go to the beach sometime, but so to do something else, something more meaningful, and this is a way that then people will come. Maybe if the Seychelles gets hotter and it's too hot for some year, at least part of the year, to go there, then or maybe I think or maybe they have monsoon getting stronger and longer, so they have something else to sell. So they are the clever ones. They start this already now when there's time to do that. And so this is, of course, what we are seeing here and there already, people doing that. But our industry is very conservative, because before the pandemic, from the 1970s, so for 50 years, almost everybody was earning money. You open the door and say, please come, and then people are coming. So therefore, now to say, sorry guys, you have to relearn the whole trade, you have to change your product, and you have to learn a little bit more about technology. That is something where many people say, yeah, but are you sure it will be so bad? And they try to close their eyes, but we know, if there's a tiger coming, you close your eyes, the tiger is not going away from closing you. You close your eyes, it still will eat
coming
you.
Again,
So this is, children do this, but if you're a business, this is not a very good method. But I have the impression that many people try to do this, just close their eyes.
The next one, I'm sure it will be in Nepal, because now you are based there and you are starting a project there.
Yes, of course, we are already doing this, and there is a lot of projects. As you hopefully know, Lumbini in Nepal is the birthplace of Buddha, and so there's a lot of Buddhist tourism coming, and not only believers, but people interested in the philosophy of Buddhism which is, if you read this, basically it sounds like a sustainability handbook. So be kind, be careful with the nature, be respectful to the nature, respectful to other people, don't be greedy. So all this is the Buddhist philosophy. And so this is something where Nepal certainly can use this more. And of course, for instance, 85% of energy in Nepal is created from hydropower. We have, for instance, the biggest hotel group in the country, the Salty Hotel Group. They have their own solar panels, so 85% is hydropower and 50% is solar power. My job is a bit to tell people to tell this, because Nepali people are so polite and quiet that they don't do much marketing, so they're not loud. But to have to tell people. But and of course, in Nepal, like in many Asian societies, this concept that harmony is very important. That you have to, everybody has to be happy and see the benefits and satisfaction.
This aligns with the meaningful tourism concept.
Yes,
I suppose,
yes. So this is something which is so basically, I mean, in many cases, meaningful tourism is just saying, let us remember.
Yeah,
the wisdom of what people already had 500 years ago. It is so. Therefore, I'm not saying this is rocket science.
Yeah.
It is just, let us remember that if you are the bully, and so if you're the big strong guy, I can force the other people to do what I want. But will they like me? No. Will I be happy? No. Because we want to be liked. Everybody wants to be liked, even to be loved. So, and therefore, it's not useful to say, haha, if you don't know what I want, I can beat you, or I can put tariffs on you, whatever. So it is not a new idea. It is a very common idea that you need to have, everybody has to get something out of it, so that everybody is happy, and then it will work. And last thing to say, we have been the good guys in the past. So we were bringing joy, entertainment, jobs for women, even peace. But already before the pandemic, remember, we had the over-tourism debate and the Flugscham debate. So, and now, of course, a lot of you say, tourism is a part of the problem. So we're, for leisure tourism, you're flying around the world just for fun, polluting. So we have to be very careful that the politicians don't come up with the idea to put more taxes on us, because we're using public utilities, we're using the city centers, the beaches, the cathedrals, all this thing, without paying for it. In the past, it was okay because we are creating jobs and we increase the arrival numbers, as what we said at the beginning. But of course now, unfortunately, in many countries in the world, at the moment you get votes from voters by being anti-foreign. And so if some politicians will come up with the idea, we get sympathy from our voters if we are against international tourism, and we put some taxes on arrival, departure taxes and stuff, and then or we say, if the tourists go to the city center, to the pedestrian area, the tour operator should pay some entrance fee for them or whatever. And so we have to get back being the good guys.
Yeah.
We have to get back to being part of the solution, not part of the problem. So this is actually, yesterday morning, the chairman of PATA, Peter Simon, he said exactly that in his opening speech, in his opening remarks. So this is something where meaningful tourism hopefully is one tool where we can show to the public, to the media, to the general public, that we are trying to do things in the right way, so that everybody.
And it has to be, as you said, it has to be win-win for every
Yes,
part,
course.
every one of those 6 stakeholders
Yes.
that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, and
So-
and therefore, and it is. We did already some trainings, and it is very interesting to see how during one day, people who say at the beginning, "Oh, it's impossible. This is a contradiction of interest." After you think a bit more carefully, and you find, well, you can put different people in different parts of a city or a country or different times of a year, so that you find solutions for this, how to align the interest. If you just do a little bit of creative thinking, and this of course is what our trainers are helping in the discussion, and so meaningful tourism should help us to show the world that tourism is something good, and that we are responsible for what we are doing, and we try to make it a win-win situation for everybody involved. And we have, with the help of PATA and other partners, we hope to make the snowball get bigger rather quickly, by having people all over the world supporting that. And until now, the reaction and the comments have been very positive. So I'm very happy to see that, and I'm very optimistic that this is our little help for the whole development of our planet and of our industry and of tourism at large.
Great. Let's hope that more and more organizations and destinations and companies, they start implementing and speaking about meaningful tourism in the near future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.